Ask the Experts. Brenda Hollingsworth is in from Auger, Hollingsworth, and we'll be chatting with her throughout this Ask the Expert today. Live phone calls on the air, 613-789-6559, extension 2803 if you have a question. The best way to do it really is by email, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca, or on Facebook at CTV Ottawa Morning Live. Brenda, good morning. And
good morning.
Interesting, the last thing I mentioned was Facebook, and we'll talk about, to start things off, you have a redesigned Facebook page for Auger Hollingsworth.
Yeah, just in the month of March, we redid it. Our blog feeds to it, so there's lots of great features.
Okay.
Anybody want to like us?
Yeah.
We like that. Our monthly newsletter is available through Facebook if you're interested in that. The crash kit that we talked about a couple of sessions ago was very popular. We had overwhelming response. We still have it available, so you can order that also through the Facebook page.
Okay, let's talk about transition times in seasons. Now, as we head into winter, we talked to you about collisions on the roads, but as we head into spring, it's almost like we have to readjust it each time. Like when the snow first falls, we're like, oh, I gotta remember how to drive on this. As spring comes, I think, personally, I think distractions kick in, but do you see an uptick in some collisions?
Yeah, different types of collisions happen. So obviously the weather-related things seem to happen a lot in the winter, but all of a sudden in the spring, there are bicycles, there are more pedestrians, and there are motorcycles, and we're not used to looking for them.
Right.
There are the die-hard winter cyclists, but for the most part, we're not used to the sort of hundreds that are on the road.
Exactly, and so it bears reminding that you have to keep your eyes open. Now, what are some of the concerns that motorcyclists have? Obviously, drivers not paying attention, but specifically on the road, lane changes into them?
Yeah, absolutely. Not being seen. Obviously, if you're a motorcycle rider, you know this. So we're really talking to the drivers out there.
Okay.
Watch for motorcycles. Make sure you check your blind spot. They're out there. We saw them on the weekend, on the nice day, I guess it was Sunday.
Beautiful.
We saw our first Harley on the Queensway. I was not on it, but you got to watch for them.
Yeah.
So lane changes, nighttime, you got to watch. We have a lot of accidents where drivers make left-hand turns in front of motorcycles and bang. So that's really bad.
And that's a tough one because if you're kind of working on autopilot, which is always a terrible idea, suggests that you're too tired.
Yes.
As you look down the road and you see a single light, sometimes your brain can decide that that's a car further away.
Right.
And as you make that turn, if you didn't really look and say, okay, I understand what that is, and you're kind of distracted, that can be deadly, and
literally
horribly injurious.
Yeah. Left-hand turns are, in my experience, the most deadly or injury-causing accident for a motorcycle. There are lots of other things, but that's what I see really, serious carnage. So please, left-hand turns, if you're making the left-hand turn, you always have to yield to oncoming traffic, right? Always, always, always. You are the servient vehicle, it's called.
Okay.
And the dominant vehicle is the straight traveling vehicle.
Right.
You must yield to that car going ahead.
And when I hear about left-hand turn collisions, I have heard people say, well, the other person was going too fast, but it's still my job to judge what's happening, isn't it?
That's right. And, in terms of civil liability, the car that's going straight, even if they're going over the speed limit, as the left-hand turning vehicle, you're still at fault. The only time you can really get out of that is if the straight traveling vehicle is going at a reckless speed.
Where you have witnesses saying, I've never seen someone go,
yeah, basically a rocket,
Yeah.
So if you hit a rocket, you might get away with it.
Okay.
But, the fact that the other guy is going fast is not an excuse.
Okay. So
they might have contributed to the accident, but it's not an excuse.
Okay, so we're going to talk about that, and maybe we can get into how we can, after the fact, some of the things that you would do if you were so unlucky as to be in a collision. Or I call it collision because the law hardly ever thinks it's an accident, right? Send us questions for Brenda Hollingsworth, who is here, an expert on personal injury law. If you have a question, go ahead and call that number on your screen, 789-6559, extension 2803. Email ottawa.morning@ctv.ca or Facebook CTV Ottawa Morning Live. It's Ask the Expert. Go ahead and give us those questions. I know you have lots of them. We'll be back in just a moment.